Hi, I'm Nicole. I've lived with psoriasis for just about 12 years and psoriatic arthritis for the last 2 years or so that I know of.
Hi, my name is Denise Lani Pascual. I go by Lani. I'm 47 years old and I've been living with psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis for 7 years now at least.
Hi, I'm Nisha. I've lived with psoriasis since I was 12 and psoriatic arthritis since I was 18-19. I'm 23 years old now.
Hey, I'm Rena and I've lived with psoriasis for 27 years.
Hi, I'm Rabbit. I've been living with psoriasis for 40 years and an unspecified illness that seems like it might be near psoriatic arthritis that is in flux.
Hello, my name is Diane Talbert. I've had psoriasis for over 59 years and psoriatic arthritis for over 30 years. I just got diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis 15 years ago. I guess the worst part for me is having a flare, even though right now I take the best medications out there. But when you get a flare, you have the pain and the stiffness, and even your joints are affected. It really takes a lot out of you. But for me, the most part, again, I think is the fatigue. It drains you, and along with the brain fog, which is embarrassing. I've been doing my same job for 30 years, and I remember getting up in front of people at an event, and I couldn't remember not one thing about my job to talk about.
I was at church and my little Samuel, who was maybe, he was just starting to walk, and he was like, "Carry me, mommy, carry me." And I looked down at him and I was like, I can't. And again, it was one of those things. It's like, why can't I? It's like, it's such a simple thing. Just pick your kid up, drop him on your hip. And I couldn't. So I had to sit. And there are pictures of me. I'm sitting in the pew and just holding Samuel, and he's asleep. It's like, because I couldn't even tell you like what my thought process was at the time. But it used to really impact just my physical health, or my physical life, and my mental life. Because then, I was sitting there thinking I felt like a terrible mom. I was like, why can't I pick up my kid? I must be the worst mom in the world.
I find that nowadays, most of the time, the things that I experience are pretty minor, but they call back every flare that was not minor, and the fear of it coming back, and the preparation, do I still own all the things I owned the last time this was bad? Do I need to go and find new tools or different tools, or are the tools that I know about going to fail me this time? Because sometimes things work for years and then they don't anymore. So I'm really grateful that lately it's been a more low-lying sort of thing that's been in small patches and really mild, to be honest. But there were times in my life where I literally couldn't wear clothes. So it's always that haunting fear of it's going to be as bad as it was when it was the worst that it ever was.
Yeah, to be honest, it's all I've really ever known with my psoriasis. It being so severe and impacting my daily life, my relationships, my mental health, brings so much intense pain, which sometimes can be unexplainable, especially to people who don't have the condition. Of course, I still have my bad days, in terms of how it affects my identity, my self-image in particular. So yeah, I think, it has been a roller coaster for sure. Yeah.
I think for me, the way it manifests is running an energy deficit and kind of never really knowing, to use the common terminology, how many spoons something is going to take. Always making that calculation on the smallest daily tasks can definitely be exhausting. I do think I'm at a point right now in my life where I'm kind of I'm not letting anything stop me from doing the things that I want to do. And if I want to go do something and it's going to take a lot of energy, I'm just going to budget for it as best as I can and know that it won't always be perfect.
I always put myself first, whether it's work or my studies. Last year I had to defer my final year of uni because I was my psoriasis and arthritis was so bad. I was pretty much, there were days when I was almost about bedbound. I was struggling to get out of bed because I was in so much pain.
the word I always use is it's all encompassing, from the clothes I wear to the things that I do, to the thoughts that I'm having, to the work that I choose to do, where I choose to go. And I notice even now at a point when I've gotten treatment that's been effective, I still find myself getting nervous if I have like 3 events in the day. I'm like, how am I going to make it? 2 weeks ago, I had to cancel an event with a friend who didn't understand. And standing by my own side, I would say being my own best friend, holding my own hand, sharing with the community to help encourage me because I couldn't do it on my own. I needed the validation and the support because she didn't understand. I would absolutely say it was difficult to care for myself. First of all, there was this internal voice that was angry at myself for being sick, right? So I would beat myself up first. Why am I sick again? Why is the skin flaring again? Why me, right? So there was a lot of that. And then not having anyone else who I knew at the time living with the condition, that felt really isolating because I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, is this quote unquote normal, like for someone living with the condition? I just felt very, very just trapped in a way. And so yes, caring for myself was never a priority. It sounded like an indulgence.
I have a lot of empathy for other youth that go through this, because the conversation about self-care has like almost veered into self-punishment now. Like if you're not doing enough self-care, you're supposed to feel bad about it. And you just, sometimes all you really can do is lay on your stomach and prop your feet up so that your sheet doesn't touch your back. Like, that's the day, is laying very still so your skin doesn't touch your skin. Pray God it's not summer, right? So there's a lot of places where the what you can do for yourself is dictated so far outside of the, like, what's within your power, I guess.
Well, it all depends, because I've been having flares for over 50 years. So it all depends if they're bad flares or if they're good flares. But my most difficult time I can remember was I had a flare so bad where my husband actually had to help me go to the bathroom. He had to help me get dressed. He had to comb my hair. I couldn't even vacuum a floor because of the inflammation I was having in my body. It was just, the pain was just too much, where I couldn't even walk. So that's one of my worst flares that I've had. And I can't even explain it, how it just takes so much out of you when you have a flare. It just wears you down.
Back then, I wasn't really keeping track of what was causing my flares. So it would just kind of be, I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I don't really feel like I can get out of bed. Literally getting out of bed, like dropping my leg out of the bed to get out of the bed. Like, I would just lie there in bed and be like, I can't do it. And I don't know why.
The psoriatic arthritis, that's the thing that really kind of like changed my whole life. And it was surreal for me. Like to the point where I was like, this can't be real. Like, is this in my head? Like, am I going crazy? And it didn't help that I had doctors who were actively discounting me and telling me that I was going crazy. And I feel like, yeah, like there was that real feeling of feeling trapped, of kind of like coming to terms with it. And in terms of like healing for me, I'm an artist, I'm a writer. And so like I had to learn how to be kind of like present. And that has been like my self-care in a lot of ways, because I find that when I project too far out into the future, it results in anxiety. And so I've been really leaning on finding that presence through like the tools that are available to me, which for me, that's art, that's writing, and using that as a way to kind of like reground myself, and then hopefully, be able to like be there for my friends in the way that I want to, and be there for my spouse in the way that I want to, and do all those things that I'm hoping to do. But I think I've just had to kind of like shift the priorities, and like, for women of color, people of color, it's just like, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, I've always struggled taking care of myself. I guess because since I've been diagnosed, I've always had to have my mom help me, because Also having thick hair, long thick hair, it's very difficult to do scalp treatments and reach in certain places, as you guys know, and everything. And even doing basic stuff like cooking for myself, or getting rid of scales, stuff like that. I've had to have my mum help me with quite a bit. And even today, like, I was in the shower like an hour ago, and I was just like gently, rubbing off the scales on my skin and stuff. And I came out and I was just like, I'm too tired to moisturize. Like, I moisturized my face, but I didn't do my body. And I was just like, you know what, this is enough. Like, I've gotten through the day, that's enough. I've survived the day. And I have a partner who's she's very, she's so caring and thoughtful, and she's always wanting to help me moisturize my body and everything. And even in terms of it's so embarrassing with the psoriasis scales on the floor getting everywhere, and I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my god, let me get the Hoover. No, I'll do it. And then she's like, no, this is your skin, it's okay, it's fine. And she just cleans it up, and I'm looking at her like wow. I feel very, I just feel very blessed, because she's been there for me at my lowest as well. And I think that's really important as well, in terms of taking care of myself, just talking to friends and loved ones about it. So